My name is Peter McGrath. I am the manager for SalvoCare Eastern Homelessness and Support Services. Since 2002, the Salvation Army had run a series of small projects, particularly originally around home care and the support in the home. And then in conjunction with the Department of Health and Human Services, we've expanded to a broader project across the Eastern region, and then it became a program called the Living Well program. And the aim was to be, how do we support the person and their situation and work therapeutically with them to create a recovery process. So we developed a project that would look at a collaboration between mental health services and homeless services, one with a mental health focus and one with a focus of outreach and support to come into the home. Both services receive training and support around how to work professionally with people with a hoarding disorder. That training was provided by a clinical psychologist as part of the project. And it looked at a higher level of training than just our general training about what is hoarding disorder. Hoarding in itself, as now classified, is a mental health disorder. And the issue in itself is around the difficulty people face in being able to discard items because those items have a value that person has on it. And that value may be different than what other people perceive. The issue that it becomes between a collector and a hoarder is the hoarder creates an impact of risk in their home. The longer they have continued to hoard, the longer they have built up a process of managing that within their own environment. And so it becomes more of a protective environment, and that's when you start to stem with those external issues about the isolation that people start to experience or create for themselves. The Buried in Treasures program is a group therapy program. It's a peer support program. It's a 15-week program where people come in trying to reflectively and therapeutically learn about the issues of hoarding and clutter and starting to look at developing strategies.
My name's Millie and I co-facilitate the Buried in Treasures Hoarding Support Group. The goal here is that participants understand why they acquire stuff. And then it's working on strategies, gentle, careful strategies. What strategies can we put in place to prevent the acquiring? We're there to encourage them, to support them. It's about being non-judgmental, empowering the individual to feel confident that they can continue with their life, they can continue to declutter, to sort, to feel good about themselves and to be worthwhile member of the community, because then they can start living in a home for its intended purpose as a home.
Well, my name's Beverly and I no longer work full-time, but do part-time work as a marriage celebrant.
Well, I'm Heather and I'm a single mother, and the reason I started coming to the program of Buried in Treasures was because I had a lot of clutter in my home, and I found doing it on my own over the years, I wasn't getting anywhere, so I thought I'll seek some help for dealing with that part of my life. For me, it was boxes of things, I was stepping over things, and things were building on other things, and the physical chaos actually caused a lot of chaos in my head.
It kind of talks to you every time you walk past it, and it's never nice talk. The voice in your brain that says, look at you, you can't even sort this out. Look at you, just imagine what people would think if they came and saw it. You're not the person they see outside the house. All that negative talk, I was desperate to find solutions for that. You have it like that for so long, you put blinkers on and you don't see it, but as that unseen weight on your shoulders still exists.
During and after the Buried in Treasures program, I was able to access the Living Well program through the Salvos, and that meant that someone would come out to my home and start the process with me of sorting and be side by side with me, encouraging me in my environment. If I hadn't have had that program available, I guess I would be stuck where I was, and if not in a worse situation, and to discover through the journey and the classes of the Buried in Treasures, and to hear that hoarding was actually recognised now as a mental health issue, and to receive that validation, it really gave me some hope. And I think the combination of those things has seen me get on my feet, gain my confidence, get out of that depression and have a renewed hope for the future.
What the project demonstrated is that we need resources to build the capacity for professional people with a mental health background to be able to work with people living with a hoarding disorder in their homes. What is needed is a longer-term, longitudinal study on what is a hoarding disorder and how a particular step care model of support, which is something that we're trying to test out with our project, can work. Included in that is the continued growth of peer support programs like the Buried in Treasures group therapy, which provide a positive outcome for people to develop their own strategies to deal with their own individual situations.